Hi students, welcome back. I hope you're all doing great and staying safe. So this video is made with the purpose to guide you through your work packet that looks like this. You should have or will be receiving a packet that looks like this. The cover page is the agenda for the 2 weeks. And this video is going to cover some skills that you will need to get through the work of the first week, which runs from Monday, May 11th up until Friday, May 15th. And the first skill that we're going to be learning is multiplying with the 3-digit factor and splitting the 3-digit factor into smaller problems so you can get to the correct answer, okay? So I'm going to go over the example with you, the example problem, and I just wanted you to also know that you have this problem with you on the second page of the packet, which is page 70. And the example is right here. When I'm going through the problem, feel free to look at that example. Feel free to pause the video so you can observe what I have written down. I'll walk you through it and explain to you why it is that I'm doing what I'm doing. So let's start off with this. And up top, you can see that I wrote out the problem, which is 245 times 6. Okay? What we're going to do with this problem is we are going to break down the 245 into smaller numbers. So what I did was, I know we have the number 2 in the hundreds place, so we have 2 hundreds. And then we have the number 4 in the tens place, so I know we have 4 tens, which gives us 40. And I know we have the number 5 in the ones place, which gives us 5. So I broke down 245 to 200 plus 40 plus 5. If you have a calculator and you would like to check this, you may type it in. 200 plus 40 plus 5 should give you 245, or will give you 245. Okay, so that's the first thing. Next, we are using this rectangle to show our multiplication. So we are multiplying the 245 times 6. So that means we're going to multiply each one of these numbers by the number 6. And what I did was I wrote out the 6 here, I drew out a long rectangle, and I broke it up into parts. This is the hundreds part, tens, and ones. So we know we have 2 hundreds. So what I did was I wrote the 200 up here, and I did 6 times 200. And a way to get to the answer without using the calculator, and you can use mental math, is you can do 6 times 2 gives us 12. So you would write in the 12, and then we have 1, 2, 2 zeros. You tackle them on. That way we know that 6 times 200 is 1200 or 1200. You can check my work or your work by using a calculator. Next, we are going to move on to the tens. We have 4 tens, which will give us 40. And right behind us, we have Miss Mejia. Say hi to Miss Mejia. Okay, so I hope this made your day. Saying hi to Miss Mejia. So let's continue on. Next, Miss Mejia. Okay, next we're gonna move on to the tens. And we have 4 tens, which gives us 40.
It's okay, they go.
Okay. Perks of doing a live video, right? You get to see everything going on. So next we're gonna move on to the tens. We have 4 tens, which gives us 40. And remember, we're multiplying by 6. So I have 40 times 6. And again, we can use the shortcut way to multiply, and we can do 6 times 4. And 6 times 4 will give us 24. I'm sorry, guys, this is a little difficult to hold, but I hope you are understanding. 24, and then we have 1 0, so we're going to tackle it on. And we know that 6 times 40 gives us 240. I wrote the answer down at the bottom. Last, you can see that I have 5 times 6. We know that 5 times 6 is 30. Okay? So this is one part of the process. Next, I am going to pull out a second board and I am going to write down I already wrote down the equations that were within the rectangle. I'll show you the rectangle one more time. The equations I have on the bottom board are the equations that were written in the rectangle, okay? So moving on. Equation 1 was 200 times 6. Equation 2 is 40 times 6. And equation 3 is 5 times 6. Let's go through and multiply these together again. I'm going to use the shortcut way, so I know that 2 times 6 is 12. And then I'm going to add the 2 zeros at the end. I know that 4 times 6 is 24. And I am going to add 1 0 because we have 1 0 left over. And then I know that 5 times 6 is 30. And again, I just want to remind you, these are the equations we had written in the rectangle. So next, what I am going to do is I am going to grab all these numbers and I'm going to add them. So I'm going to set the board down. I'm going to write them down nicely, and then we're going to go through together and add. So here they are. Notice I lined the numbers up so they are lined up. And we're going to go through and we are going to add. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 gives us, you guessed it, 0. 0 plus 4 is 4. And 4 plus 3 is 7, right? And then 2 plus 2 is 4. And then we're left with the 1, and we bring it down. So next, we can say, based off of this answer, that 245 times 6 is 1,470, okay? So you need to practice these skills in order to get to the correct answer for your multiplication problem. Feel free to go back and watch this video as many times as needed. I know it's a little difficult with me holding the board up and having multiple boards, but feel free to go back in the video and rewatch any steps that you need to rewatch. And you also have the example in the packet. Next, we're gonna do a different type of problem. It's multiplication. It's similar. The only difference is you are going to be estimating this time. Okay, so the problem I wrote out for you is also found on page 72, which looks like this, and the example is on this side. Okay, so follow along. And next, we are still working with a 3-digit multiplication problem. We have the 3 digits, and the problem is 3 times 487. Okay, so we start off like the last problem with the 3-digit problem. The thing here is we are gonna estimate this time, so we're gonna leave the 3 as is, and we're gonna round the 487, and I rounded to 500 because 487 is closer to 5.